beginning painter project, a intimate dinner for two for Valentine's. Pick a heart. You can trace one out of any book, whatever is your favorite heart, you trace it. Put it on paper. Use this as the pattern. I'm using Liquitex Glossies as the paint surface. You put a coat of paint on your heart. This will be very fast, so you can have it ready for that dinner party for the two of you. You can buy Liquitex Glossies, are found at Dick Blick if you have a Dick Blick store in your area, or online at different paint sources that sell craft paint. This is not available at Michael's, but you can use other paints. You do not have to use specifically Liquitex Glossies. So I've painted the heart on, one coat. It will, you need to let it dry before you put the second coat on. And while we're letting it dry, we're going to paint the stem. You take your brush and move it right around the stem like a ribbon, like you were tying a ribbon on the stem. And this is a way to do the ribbon look. Make sure there's enough paint. If you have enough paint on your brush, you only need to do one coat. So you take that around and finish your ribbon look. And I always finish the ribbon in the back of the glass. Then while that's drying, you put on your dots. And we're going to dot first with a white. Use any little point. You can use your paintbrush that you're using. It usually will have a flat tip. You can take that and just put it in your paint. Bring it back out. And you have dots. This takes a little bit of practice, but once you have it down, you can practice on the glass, then wash the paint off before you actually use it. Until you bake the glass, you can remove any of your paint. You can use your fingers that I just did, or you can use let it dry, and you can use an X-Acto knife to peel the paint off. So we have the red and white dots, and the pink and white dots, and we're adding the red. You can add other colors if you like a magenta. You can also glitter these if you want to glitter them. You have to put on the glitter individually and let it dry between coats, or your glitters will mix up. So we have dots on the bottom of the glass. The heart is drying. So we'll go back to the white and put the dots on the top. If you want to do bigger dots, you can use the eraser on the tip of the pencil, a flat eraser that's not been used. And that gives you a different look. So you'll put those on. And this is how it starts to take shape. Now we'll do the pink. And this is a beginning project, so do not become frustrated. You can take the paint off as many times as you like before you're satisfied. Just rinse it off with water. And the bigger brush you have, the easier it will be to put the heart on and to put the stem. Okay. Now we're putting the red. And you want to As you go along, hold your glass up and down as much as possible. It will keep the dots from running. So as you can hold it, you'll get more proficient as you try painting. As you go along, because I have one here that I put a little too much and it's kind of running. So then you can go back over your glass, see if you have enough dots. If you're happy, you can have as many dots as you want or as less as you want because it's your project. So once you're finished with the dots, we're going to paint the next coat on to your heart. The heart will take 2 coats in red. You won't have enough. If you only put 1 coat, you will see through the heart, and that's okay too. The glitter I'm going to use is Garnet by Martha Stewart. These are available at Michael's. She also has paint, Martha Stewart does, and you can use those too. You glitter. I just pounded a little bit on the table to get the excess glitter. You let it sit, and your glass is finished. You let it dry. It's best to let them dry for 24 hours so they don't bubble, the little dots. But if you need to speed it up, you can bake it in about 12 hours. Put it in a cold oven. Bake it at 245 degrees for 45 minutes. The paint on the back of it will say to bake it at 300, but I find it's too hot and can burn the paint, and you'll get little brown spots in your paint. So I do it not as high a temperature and for a little bit longer than what it says on the paint bottle, and it works fine. After you let it cool down in the oven, after it's cooled down, you take it out, and then you can clean up your edges. You take an X-Acto knife, or you can use a straight edge that you get at a paint store. Either one works just fine. It's whatever you're comfortable with. And you clean your edges, and then you'll have a finished product that you can have dinner for 2 on Valentine's evening. Clean up. After your project is finished, just make sure the paper that you have is folded. Then you put your glitter back into the container. You take your paints. These are little sticks. I can just wipe them off. I set them in water and let the paint work off of that. Your brush, you need to take your brush and wash it off with soap and water, otherwise it will harden. Clean that off with a paper towel and tighten the lid, and you're finished.